In today's after video, we are going to be taking a look at the Electrolux 185e Slimline, the top of the line model that I got absolutely trashed, but absolutely complete from BB Dyson over in Hull Beach. Thanks guys, they know what scrap to keep and what scrap to throw. It's working. Let me show you what it looks like now and how it sounds. Yes, good evening, my vacuum cleaner chums. How are you today? This has been sat for far too long done, which is actually why I'm buffing it off as I talk to you, because I haven't yet buffed off the wax. Yes, this is the Electrolux Slimline electronic that I got as a pile of broken bits from BB Dyson, and as you know, we cobbled it together. It now has a different motor in it. Luckily, the motor's of exactly the same size as the 500 series, and I fitted it with the belt spindle on. Now, with the bearing puller, you can pull on an Electrolux 500 motor, there's a stop for the belt, and you can pull it off the belt spindle, which then greatly reduces its size, which is what I've done here. So we did all that, and then I refurbished it, and here we are. It is an Electrolux Slimline, really, with the power control of the electronic and the nice late 80s decals there. It has automatic cord rewind, which you'll notice I'm being ginger with. We'll get onto that in a minute. But it does work. It is very nice. We have the plug, which is the Livia that it had before, all nicely polished up. The cable stop, because on the Electroluxes, the cord rewind spins freely. When we push that button, it just moves a clamp off of the cable. In fact, you can see it because the switch bounces up and down. That's sort of it. It's got its back wheels. If you remember, it didn't have its front wheel. Well, if you also remember back to the Electrolux 156, it had, I think I put a Dyson bearing on it because it worked quite well. I nicked its wheel for this because this is by far the nicer Slimline to have. So it's got a proper front wheel on it. Obviously it's still quite damaged from years of being shafted around on the floor without a wheel, but the rest of it came up very well. It had a cheeky retro bright and it came up quite well. Inside, we actually have the old bag, which is, you know what, I'm keeping that because it's fairly clean. In fact, obviously didn't have a bag in it when we started. It's also got the pre-motor filter, and I was scrabbling around. I knew I had some bags for these. Didn't fully realise that this one was so clean it doesn't need another bag. But I did find them. One went in the 156. Remember, we used that with its old bag. So I'll keep that. Sadly, it's a single-walled, hateful paper bag. These are incredibly difficult to get bags for. If you're lucky, you'll find a terrible packet of Welco bags for these. What I do need to do, haven't quite been bothered for now, I'm not using too much, is find a bit of pipe to fit into there, be able to measure it, and it's nice and rubbery so it'll take up a bit of slack, and then we can fit a HEPA flow. But for now, I couldn't be bothered, basically. It's okay for a small bit of use. What I did find though, which I didn't realise I had, were some filters. And its filter, although washed, is incredibly tatty. So I thought, you know what, we may as well, because filters are filters. Wish I had some scissors. There we go. I like to cut them a bit neater than that, but hey ho. We'll treat it to some filters. All these ones, or one of them, has a little pocket for air freshener, obviously you can only use the proper Electrolux air freshener because it's like a grill. You go sticking one of the cheap discs that I use on that, you block most of the airflow. Doesn't, however, have the little cutouts for the filter to hold it. We won't use that one. So I'm only going to fit it over the front. It should have the two little slits there. And I am going to keep that one because, yes, it's washed and used, but quite frankly, they're, again, well, I say again, a Miele Active Air Clean would actually be the upgrade to do on it, but yeah, I haven't got one of those. We'll keep it period, because perhaps, well, yes, actually, because this model would have only been 110, 120 pounds. I imagine these were budget cleaners, and obviously with budget cleaners, you'd have got genuine bags back then, but very quickly you'd have gone to your local supermarket and just got some cheap bags for the old Hoover. It's what these descended into. Bless their little hearts. So we'll pop the bag back in. Now the reason this took so long to do anything with is the cord rewind. Now I'm not taking this apart and showing you. I'll try and pop some pictures up and talk a little bit slowly so we can have some time to look at them. Yes, under here the cord reel sits here and spins around the top. Then there's a tooth and ring affair, just like every other cord rewind, vacuum, pneumatic Henry, etc. Problem is, and it's not BB's fault, let's be honest, it's probably been apart for a year and they didn't get paid for the taking it apart anyway. The pins are bent. So what I found was once I got it together, eventually, and again, it's all there, it works fine, the pins shorted out and blew one of the pins off. You'll see I put a bit of tape on there, because I don't want it to come apart so much. My multimeter broke during this time, and obviously it was shorting itself out. So very kindly, a lady called Catherine bought me a multimeter off of my Amazon wish list. Yes, I don't go on about the wish list because quite frankly, if you want to, you will. If you don't, you won't. So very nice that she obviously took the time to look. She bought me a lovely multimeter. Very fancy, much better leads than the crap I normally buy. And it's got some crocodile clip attachments. They're a little bit cheap, as in they come off and are like that, but hey, you could use them like that. Again, you can push them back into there and use that. So I was able to troubleshoot it, and what I did, I won't do it now, but I put the clips on there and just pulled it in and out, adjusted, pulled it in and out, adjusted, and it's great. Look, it's got a stand. I think it's even got a light. There we go. So I could do that to show you stuff. And I can hear the beep. I don't know if you noticed with the old rubbish $4.99 eBay one, I couldn't hear the beep. I'm a little bit deaf. So fantastic all round. Thank you ever so much. It was also quite reasonable. I think it's only about 29. It's under £30 this was. It's even got clips at the back to hold your leads, but because you then got to wrap it around, I'm going to try and just keep the box good for as long as possible. I was trying to find a nice multimeter with a case, but they don't exist unless you get an ancient, but probably quite decent, but very expensive one. But either way, I can check that it's not shorting out. And in fact, I sort of wish I did have the crocodile clips on there, but we won't need to. Again, I held it on and then pushed the button. And because there's no beeping, there's no shorts. So thank you very much, Catherine. That's what finished this off. In fact, again, that's what made me put it on the wish list in the first place. And I completely forgot about it until I read your lovely comment in another video. So I feel fairly safe plugging it in and turning it on now. Crikey, it made a crack when that went and cold blew a 13 amp fuse. Oh, but I think we're okay now. So I'll just take some power down and unplug the laptop that's currently in it. I don't know if it's on or off. It's on. So in 200 watts, these have a nice bit of suction. The bag feels like bounces up and down, and of course, you can see them. little bit creaky and rattly, just like the other Electrolux Slimline. Again, no sound ending in these at all, just the two little bits of fabric to act as a rear diffuser. That's your lot. Very basic and cheap, but yeah, works well. Couldn't wire it up correctly. If I put the third wire on the motor, didn't run, so it's now got the data wire disconnected and works okay. Even still smells of oil, because that's the only way you can service one of these, is to just put oil on the fan case bearing and hope. So we are here, and of course the problem is this is where we are because there are no tools with it, and that's not a bad thing at all. Because a question I get asked a lot on Facebook, Instagram, and the mostly lovely comments below videos like these is, oh Becco, I really want a cleaner with its original tools. Oh, there's a lovely cleaner on Facebook near me, blah blah blah, but there's no tools. And sometimes, yes, that could be an absolute no-no, especially for something, you know, specific, brand specific, or, you know, cost a lot of money. But for things like this, which have ye old boring 3-lug hose, it's not fully the end of the world, because as you may remember from the 156 video, the hose is a pile of rubbish. I think this generation may have come with the slightly nicer hose, of which I have an example here from my 350e or Z2000, whatever, again, generic Electrolux hose number 4. I think this did come with this hose, but of course, you know, this is the Slimline hose. And I think this then did come with the crack floor tool. Do not want to use that at all. It is absolutely horrible. So yes, while you could spend the time trying to piece together an original toolkit, it's a ruffle cocktail. Anyway, enough shenanigans. You know, if you've got other Electroluxes in your collection, again, I fully intend to just use this with a hose like this, frankly. Because it's just brilliant. And again, I picked this up off of eBay for the automatic 345 before I fixed its cloth hose. And I still chuck this on it rather than the cloth hose if I was actually doing some cleaning. You know, well, when I dated it, I did, and it's much better. Wands, well, I didn't even bother getting the crap plastic wands out of the loft from the other automatic. Again, it's 32mm, so here is a wand from an older, I think the Z55. And it's perfect because it's of the era where this is now a good length. Or 32mm. Here's an older telescopic one from my Electrolux Z185e. Nice telescopic, a bit rubbish, but does the job. So yeah, you do not need to worry about wands. That makes it really long. Don't need that. We'll use the other one. And again, floor tools, well, again, 32mm. Any floor tool is better than that. So you could have this, which is, I don't know what it's from, but it's a modern replica of the original style floor tool the Electrolux did, and it is Electrolux. It's very nice actually. I've been using it a bit. You can have these sort of floor tools. This one's from the 2060, and I've had it on a Dolphin as well, and it's very pleasant. Actually does blow itself down. That doesn't sound nice at 800 watts. I never collector used the pneumatic floor tool on his one the other day, and I can clearly see that. Here is my cheap flat out tool. Turn that down a bit more, I'm shouting. Well, a Dyson. Ooh, that works well. It just glues itself down so well. We're on about 500 watts. sometimes, especially if as a collector you have other examples of machines that use the same tools, literally the world is your lobster. Come on, don't. Oh. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Oh. Uh-oh. I really wanted to daily this, but God, that flipping cord reel. No, that's it, folks. It's complete, but it's so delicate. And obviously, if I fully break it, I'm not going to be able to get another one. Where was I? Yeah, it doesn't really matter if machines like this haven't got tools, as long as you've got a hose. Literally, if you're on the lookout for just a cheap vac to collect, question I get all the time, just make sure it's got the damn hose. Anything else, because it'll only be 32mm like this, or the other style like Goblin do, where it goes on the other way, and then you're laughing really. You know, this is now a much nicer machine to use with any of these tools. With adapters, you could use modern Dyson tools. I could very easily get the flat out head to fit on this from 32mm. All of this is just better sometimes than the kit the vacuum cleaner originally came with. And there we go. There is my Electrolux Z185 electronic. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I and most of this mess in various guises will see you soon. Bye bye.